Hey everybody, my name is Molly Corder and welcome to my live training in the 12 Days of Kissmas group. I am so honored to be here and I am going to be talking to you guys today all about trips. Okay, so Senegence trips, that is the focus of my video today. As some of you guys are just jumping on, I would love to know where you're from and how long you've been with Senegence. Let me know your current rank. I would also love to know if you've ever gone on a Senegence trip, and if not, I would love to know if going on a trip in the near future is one of your goals. And when I say goals, I don't mean a wish, I mean an actual plan that you have in place to make sure that it is something that you hit and accomplish. And my heart is so warm right now seeing all of my girls from my Dominion jumping on. Christine, Roxanne, hey ladies. Hey Tiffany. Hi Jessica. So my name is Molly Corder. I am a Ruby Crown Princess and I've been with this company for a little over 18 months. And I am gonna swipe over and cover up the comments just for a bit so that I can get straight to it. So my topic today is Senegence trips, and I was asked by Allison to cover this specific topic because I have never missed a Senegence trip from the day that I started this business, and I'm going to tell you exactly how I've been able to do that. So when I first started, I was able to earn my Senecar in just 8 weeks. So in 8 weeks, I mean, I dove all in, and for those of you that don't know my story, I'm not going to go all the way into all of that. But I was a teacher for 12 years, and after just a couple of months in this business, I was able to retire from teaching. I currently have 5 children, and when I joined, I had just had newborn twins. They are now 1.5, and I am also currently pregnant right now, 9 months pregnant with baby number 6. Yes, it was a surprise. Bonus baby. We are very thrilled, but I am ready for her to come out. Trust me, and we are done for sure. So I have 5 little ones, almost 6. My husband works full time. He works 12-hour days. We are a busy family, and I work full time from home with Senegence. And I've been so thankful that after I had the twins, that this opportunity presented itself, and I went for it full-fledged. And it has allowed me to stay home with my kids and not miss all the things I missed out on over the last 12 years as a teacher. And I loved my job so much teaching, but now I get to teach women, and I'm so happy to be able to do that. So in just 8 weeks, I earned my Senecar. And if for those of you that do not have a Senecar, I'm sure you know, the way that you earn a car through this company is through your first line. So your first line, I was told from the very, very, very beginning by some of the top leaders that your first line is everything. And I will say that and preach that until the day that I die, that your first line should be your number one every day. Line copied everything that I did, and I was very duplicatable in how I was able to build. So after 10 weeks, I hit tier 2, so I was able to get the full $500 car payment through our Senecar program, and that really motivated me because I was able to see what was possible. It also helped get my husband on board because he was a little skeptical at first, and I'm going to show you and tell you how to plan these things out so that you too can do this. So as you know, Costa Rica was the last LIPS trip, and my husband and I both qualified on both tiers for Costa Rica in 12 weeks. From the day that I signed up, 12 weeks later, we hit Costa Rica. To be honest, it wasn't even on my radar. I did not even know it was a goal. I didn't know it was something that I could even hit. So when I hit it, I was in shock because I was just working my business every single day like I would have anyway. And that's why I love this company, because they reward you for doing the things that you should be doing anyway. And I was going to do whatever it took to make this business successful. Number 1, I wanted to stay home with my kids. And number 2, I saw the opportunity as for what it was, which is something that doesn't come along twice in a lifetime, and I went all in. So we qualified for Costa Rica. It was a huge deal, so excited. It wasn't much longer that I qualified for Disney World, the Senestar trip. So I'm starting to really kind of pinch myself at this time, thinking to myself, wow, I've never left the country because I've never been able to afford to do so. And I'm now taking my husband on world traveling vacations, taking my kids to Disney World, which we could never afford to do on our own otherwise without this company. And I'm qualifying for these things, and it's contagious. My team sees it happening. My team saw from the very beginning where it's possible. After I qualified for Disney World, it wasn't much longer after that I qualified for Australia. And as you know, the qualifications for Australia changed a little bit than when they were for Costa Rica, made it a little more challenging, and I can talk to you guys about that in a bit. But at the same time, there was no question in my mind from the day Leaders Conference ended and it was announced that Australia was going to be the next slips trip. There was never a doubt in my mind that I would hit it. I knew I would hit it because I knew that I would never quit until I did. In addition to Australia, the top 10 girls that had the top highest second lines and that also hit Australia qualified to go to Costa Rica. New Zealand and Pregnancy Brain. And so I was fortunate enough to be one of the top 10 to qualify for New Zealand. You might be wondering, why the heck are you telling us all this? But I want to come from a place of showing you guys what is possible. So not only Australia, New Zealand, but just about a month ago, I was able to qualify for the trip to Canada, the next trip to Canada, which is Senestar. So obviously, I hit $1 million after, I think, 5.5, 6 months. So I became a Crown Princess and then ultimately Ruby Crown Princess. My team has almost done 1.8 million this year and hoping to surpass what we did last year. And I've been able to build a first line of almost 300 women in the time that I've been with this company. So how? Okay, so how? Well, let me start with the fact that I want to make it very clear that you absolutely can do this too, 100%. There's something that you need to have that other people don't have most of the time. And the word is grit. And grit is something that I always constantly am talking about because just like I was talking with my sister about the other day, my sister, she's a stay-at-home mom. Her husband's very successful, and we were chatting and she goes, I'm surprised more people aren't hitting those trips or more people aren't here or there in your company because what you do really isn't that hard. Like, it's really just not that hard. I mean, you sell makeup, right? And skincare. And I sat and thought about that. And I thought to myself, you know what? This business is not that hard. It really isn't. But what it does take is discipline. It takes discipline, it takes grit, it takes consistency. And to be honest, the average person just doesn't have it. They don't have what it takes because they don't want to be uncomfortable. They don't want to do it when it's hard. They don't want to keep going when things are slow. And I was an athlete my entire life. I was raised by my dad and my brothers. And I test a lot of that to my mental toughness and fortitude because quitting was just never something that was an option for me in anything that I did. So I want you to switch from the mindset of they made the lips trip harder, so I probably won't hit it. They, things have slowed down with this company, even though that's really not the case. I actually have recruited more people this year than I did last year. And usually in your first year, you think you'd recruit more because that's where you have that direct warm market of people that you know. My warm market in my first year was amazing because I made it that way. But once that initial group of people that you know personally, once that is gone and the people, even though those people will still join me even today, after all this time, like 18, 19 months, people have been watching me and they're just now joining. And I look at them like, what took you so long? But I want you to understand that I've had more people join my team in the last 6 months than my entire first year. So there will never, ever be a shortage of people that want to join this company. There will never be a shortage. There will never, ever be a shortage. I hear all the time, nobody wants to join. Only people want to join for the discount. I just can't get anyone to join my team. Well, let me tell you, I have a team of about 1,000 women. over the course of my time that I've been working, I've had about 300 women join my personal first line. And I guarantee you, the amount of times that I've heard, nobody wants to join my team, I can't even count. Okay, well, I have nothing special. There's nothing about me that was famous. I'm not a professional makeup artist. As a matter of fact, when I joined this company, I'd never worn more than mascara in my entire life, other than chapstick. I don't have a gigantic following. I don't know a million people. I am a regular, average 8th grade history teacher that has a lot of kids, an amazing husband, and I was able to take something in me, the grit inside me, and I was able to achieve things that you can also achieve. So how? First thing is, I know for a lot of us, we are scared. We're not really scared of what we don't do. We're scared of what other people see. And that's just not something that I've ever really paid a ton of attention to, because what other people think of you, as Rachel Hollis says, is none of your business. So that's a very interesting way of putting it. It's a little bit harsh, but it's so true. So for me, how have I been able to get all of these girls to join my team? Well, this is the thing. If you did not hit a trip that you wanted to hit last year, if you have fallen short on a goal, it's time to do something different, because I can guarantee you, if you did not hit Australia, say you hit Costa Rica and then you didn't hit Australia. Costa Rica, the year of Costa Rica was an anomaly. It was a very different time. Our company was in a different place, and a lot of people just were jumping on a bandwagon just to jump right off. And a lot of people got to places that maybe they wouldn't have had they joined the following year, okay? And not that it wasn't possible, but things came a little bit easier on that first year that I was with this company, because it was just like this panic of, things in and out of stock and buying. Now, that being said, it doesn't do you any good to have 100 people join your team that aren't going to ever place an order. So out of all of the girls that have ever joined my first line, I am at a very, very high percentage of qualified girls, and that's the ticket. It's amazing when there's a free sign up and 100 girls join your team, but how many of those 100 are qualified? So my immediate focus, and I got this from Lisa Tippin Morris. I heard her say it one time, it stuck with me, and I never forgot it. She said, if you aim for the lip strip, if you aim to hit the lip strip, you will hit everything else by default. And she is so absolutely right. When I first started, I didn't know much about that, because I didn't really even realize a car was an option. I didn't know there was a lip strip. I didn't know what a Senestar trip was. I was ignorance on fire, and I kind of just jumped all in and shared. But now, looking back, once I went to the last leaders conference and Australia was announced as the lips trip, Lisa Tippin Morris, in my brain, she said, you aim for the lips trip and you will hit everything else by default. So my focus became that lips trip. Now, we just had leaders conference, and it was announced that the next trip is Hong Kong. And I guarantee you, when I was up on the stage and it was announced that the next trip is Hong Kong, I was looking out at the audience, and I know for a fact, so many of you didn't even for a second believe that you could actually hit Hong Kong. I know it. I saw a look of defeat. I saw a look of people are like, yay, Hong Kong. I'm never going to hit that. Let me tell you, what you think is what will happen. It is a fact. Now, I would be lying if I said that I never doubted myself, because I do. I doubt myself every single day. I fall short of things that I shoot for every single day. But as a teacher for 12 years of my life, my adult life, teaching has taught me that if you don't plan, you're going to fail. What has it go? Plan to fail. Wait, fail to plan to fail, right? So I say it all the time and then I get confused. But basically, backwards planning was the way that I was taught to teach. So what does that mean? That means that I look at my end goal for my students, and I see that they need to be able to do all of these things by this certain time period, and then I backwards plan, chunk it out to make sure that I'm not guessing that we're going to get there by the end of the year, that I make sure that it happens. You leave time for reteaching, you leave time for checking things over, you leave time for grading, but you make sure by backwards planning that you're going to hit these numbers, okay? So I did the same thing with Australia. With Australia, I took a look at the back office, and when you click on the Australia Lips Trip, you see that you need to have $50,000 on line 1. So your first line girls. Now, remember, it's only girls that have joined your team during the leaders year. So now that Hong Kong has just come up, all of the girls that helped me get to Australia, all of the girls that signed up, was it 2 months ago when we had the free sign up? None of those girls are going to count for me for Hong Kong. This is what is so incredible. If I were to hit it again and hit Hong Kong, it's showing that I'm able to keep duplicating the things that I've done every year so far. Now, a lot of people that are new to the company figure, oh, the top girls, the highest girls, the ones with the highest ranks, they're just going to all hit it automatically because they have 5,000 girls on their team. That's not the case. Everyone is on an equal playing field. Doesn't matter what rank you are with the lip strip. If you don't hustle, if you don't have the grit, if you're not consistent, you will never accidentally hit it, ever. You will never accidentally hit it. It's impossible because it is going to take a very direct approach. You are going to have to be extremely intentional. You absolutely can hit it. And it doesn't matter if you are a Empress Majesty, Queen of England, or if you're a maiden, or if you're a whatever, we're all on even playing field because when the leaders year starts, we all go back to 0. And everyone has to recruit all over again. Well, guess what? Your warm market, maybe it's gone. Maybe your second backup warm market is gone. So how are you going to find all these new people? Well, let me tell you, if you didn't hit Australia, you're not going to hit Hong Kong doing what you did the Australia year. So you have to do something different. That's one of my biggest strengths. I can sit back and look at something and go, this is not working. So I can't just keep doing this because this is not going to get me anywhere. So I've got to make a dramatic change to something I'm doing to be able to get a different result. And again, we've heard the definition a million times of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. It's not going to happen. You have to be able to stop, pull yourself out of your own situation and start to get creative. A lot of people don't want to sit back and think. Think to yourself, I haven't had anyone join my team in 6 months. I'm not doing something right, okay? So what I did when I first started, I immediately, when I start something, I jump all in. That's something that I do anyway. But when I first started, I looked and I saw who was the best at everything. Who's the top recruiter in the company? Who are the top 5 recruiters in the company? Who are the top 5 in sales in the company, or 10? Who are the top whatever? And I go and I follow them and I study them and I watch them and I figure out the things that they're doing that everybody else is not doing. And it's no coincidence that girls hit these trips. There is absolutely no luck involved. Trust me. It is a day in, day out, everyday hustle of grit and hard work and determination and a very specific plan that you have to follow. Now, let me tell you, when I wanted to hit Australia, you have an entire year to hit it. As my year is progressing, I'm an impatient woman. I'm getting to month 3, to month 5, and I want to hit it by now, and I'm not even close yet. And sometimes you have to just sit in it, do the work, and let the results come from the hard work that you do. So for me, I broke it down by months, and I have my computer out and I'm going to be showing you guys kind of how I did that. So because the lip strip is really the key to a Senecar, the lip strip is the key to Senestar, the lip strip is key to basically a fat paycheck. The lip strip is my main focus every year and it always will be. And I have my computer out, so I'm going to show you guys some of my thoughts that I had. So give me 1 second to flip this. Okay, so let me have this focus in. All right, so if you take a look here, so the lip strip is broken down into 4 quarters, okay? So you have October to December, which we are just starting the end of the first quarter for Hong Kong, okay? Then you have January to March, April to June, July to September. So ignore this column for now because that is no longer something that our team, this is Australia, but there's some glitches going on in the back office right now, but that's fine. We can still figure this out. So if we look at October to December, this number, 1,500, you'll see is kind of repeated often. The number 1,500 is the maximum number of the maximum you can get per distributor that you sign up in the qualification period per quarter. So for example, this one of my girls that joined me in the months of October through December, she ordered 1,500 PV or more. Now she could have ordered 20,000 PV. Okay, it's still going to show 1,500 because the most I can get towards her in this 3-month period is 1,500. So what does that tell me? That tells me in the back of my brain that if I sign up a new girl, my goal is for her to order 500 PV a month. Now that's a minimum because that's going to maximize my lips trip. Okay, so I have incentives on my team. I am very intentional. I have a first line chat. I have a chat specifically for all of my new girls only, and I let them know our goal is 500 PV a month or more, and my incentives are geared towards that goal. Okay, so you can see she maxed out. She might have ordered all 1,500 just in October. There's no way to really tell that here, but I've maxed her out, and my goal is to max out all of my new distributors each quarter. If you look over here, she maxed out in the following quarter. She maxed out again April through June, and then July to September, she almost maxed out. She got close. So the most I can earn for any one person is 6,000. 6,000. Okay, so the most you can earn from any one person is 6,000. Now, if you look up here, this is the number that you're wanting to have hit 50. So you want your level 1 to hit 50 or more, and your level 2 to hit 50 or more. This is going to get you your trip. This is going to get a trip for your spouse or your guest. Now, if level 1 goes above 50, it starts to eat away at level 2, and it's not vice versa. So what that means is if I get 60,000 on level 1, I don't need 50 on level 2. I only need 40. If you look over here, it's going to break it down for you as well. It's going to tell you how much you need on each line to hit that goal. So as we're looking here, I immediately did not waste any time. I started adding girls to my team in October. And I believe in October I added, let's see, you can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So in October, I added 9 girls to my team. And as you go through here, you can see that in that first quarter, we did $8,630, which I was really super disappointed about. Why was I disappointed about that? Because if you break it down numbers wise, I need 12,500, 12,500, 12,500, 12,500 to be able to hit the 50,000. So in my brain, I'm thinking, oh man, I'm already behind. Well, I want you to realize after a quarter is over, the girl that no longer qualified you in this quarter, she can qualify you up to 1,500 again for the following quarter. So even though I did 8630 in my first quarter, I wasn't really thinking that momentum would happen. So anybody that I added in the second quarter, I get their points, but I also get my first quarter girls' points as well. So I started getting these, and it made this number double what my first quarter was. So even though I needed 12.5 here and 12.5 here, it averaged out because all of these first girls that joined my team October to December, they started over and started to qualify me again. Same thing happens in April and June, and that's why the momentum started to happen. 8,600, 16,000, 30,000, doubled it again. So, and then in my final quarter, look what happened here. All of these zeros. So I had girls that came out the gate firing, okay, guns a-blazing, and then they fizzle out. And they eventually quit. The average person, I believe the retention rate on your first line, don't quote me, but half the girls on your team are going to quit, you guys. Half the girls on your team are going to quit. And my numbers show that exact thing. So what does that mean? That means I got to keep going. So here, let me see. I don't want to show their names, but you can see in this leaders year, I added 117 girls to my team. First line only, okay? 117. And this number needed to be 50. It's at 118. So, I obviously more than hit it. I also hit it on my second line for my husband. Now, if you look here, level 2, everything I'm saying about level 1 also happens for level 2. So you can see, same thing. Look at all these zeros. You would think that your second line is going to be super massive, because if all of those first line girls are building, it obviously should be. Well, that's why a lot of people hit it on their second line, but not their first, because on their second line, their first line, it makes sense that your second line would be bigger than your first. But for me, mine is just the opposite. My first line was so much of my focus, I actually didn't focus enough on my second line. But you can see here, I still hit it with plenty and was able to hit the 50,000 on line 2 and plenty on line 1. So I have line chats for each of my girls. So when I am going for a new goal, so like Hong Kong, anybody that I add to my team during the Hong Kong qualification, I have a chat just for my girls that qualify me for Hong Kong. So anybody that has signed up with me from October of this year until September 30th is going to be in a line chat for line 1. So I have my line 1 chat, but then I have like a special one just for them. I have acid reflux, you guys, heartburn from this baby. I do special incentives just for them. I'm very, very, very intentional just with them. Of course, my entire team is my priority, but the lip strip is my number 1 goal every time. So I'm very focused on each of them hitting that 500 PV per month. I go live in their groups for them. I help them throw parties. I help them grow themselves. I help them learn how to sell. And I do that for my whole team, but I have a special focus on those new babes. The name of my Dominion is Hot Lips Boss Babes, so I always call my girl babes. So how am I finding these girls? So where on earth am I finding them? Well, number 1, if you're not adding girls to your team every month, then you're doing something wrong. Where do I find girls? Well, I have a lot of kids and not a lot of time. So the majority of my team finds me online or I find them online. So there's so many different recruiting trainings is like one of my favorite things to do. This is not a recruiting training, but what it is a way to show you that it is possible to meet new people. So every single time I ever have a customer, I always, I post into places like Marketplace on Facebook. I post into like mom groups sometimes. I've done an ad in a magazine before. I've done multiple vendor events, small short ones because I don't have a lot of time to be able to do them. And every single time anybody ever buys a product from me, ever, every single time, not only do I make sure without a shadow of a doubt that they are in my Facebook group, like that's a must. Every single customer you have ever had should be in your Facebook group. Make sure of it. I send a link, I send a follow-up, I send a voice memo. Number 2, Senegence has those automatic emails where they send out the monthly Senegence emails, and all you have to do is type in your customer's email address and they will take care to send that out every single month. Well, that keeps you relevant, that keeps you in the back of their mind. Every single one of my customers that I've ever had since the very beginning gets a Senegence email every single month from our company. They also get a newsletter from me, which has exclusive deals and things that I do personally. But my customers know I have not forgotten about them. I'm thinking about them. I follow up with them. If I am feeling a shortage of new people in my group, I'm doing incentives to grow my group. I'll do a vendor event and make sure that when somebody comes up, the very first thing I do is give them a discount for joining my Facebook group. I don't get a whole heck of a lot of sales on Instagram. I need to work on that, but same thing. If somebody ever messages me on Instagram, the first thing I do is send them to my Facebook group. I'm constantly trying to organically funnel people into my Facebook group. In addition to that, the other thing that I do is every single person, and I'm not kidding you, every single person that I've ever sold to from the very beginning until today has been given a voice memo of me offering them the opportunity to sign up. Can you say that every single customer that you have ever had, I'm talking ever, has been given the opportunity by you to join? I guarantee the answer is no. I don't ever allow somebody else to be the one to offer the opportunity to my customer or to have anybody else basically take my customer. It is my number one priority to give the absolute best customer service to every single person that's on my customer list. I am constantly following up. There is no accident to this, you guys. This is intent. Everything that I do is with intent, but it is also genuine. Customers can tell when it's not. But every single customer that I've ever had has been given a voice memo from me offering them the opportunity to join me. And it's not salesy, it's not pitchy. I give them an out. I think that's huge, so that if they want to say no, they don't feel like pressured, because then they're not going to come back to me to buy product. But it's all in your wording, and it's always in a voice memo, because as soon as people hear the sound of my voice, they chill out, they relax, they feel warmth, and they consider it. I cannot tell you how many people have told me no. It's countless. It's ridiculous. I can't even count that high. I've gotten more no's than anybody else on the face of the earth because I'm willing to ask. But I think I've also got more girls that have initially said no that eventually changed their mind. Not always, but it does happen. I've been blocked. I try not to be spammy or salesy, but sometimes people are just like, leave me alone, which is fine. But I have a thick skin in that way, and I think it was being raised with boys that, the answer no doesn't bother me in the slightest. It also doesn't deter me from asking somebody else again, or even asking that same person again. And my voice memos are very simple. I just say something like, hey girl, have you ever thought about selling makeup and skincare? Because you are adorable, or you're so cute, or I think you'd be absolutely perfect. It's super simple to sign up. It's only $55. You can go ahead and get up to 50% off of all of the products, not only for yourself, but you can make up to a 50% profit on every sale. And then if you build a team, you're going to make a 10% commission. If you are interested, send me a message. Let's get you signed up, and I'll show you exactly what to do. I send that to everybody. When somebody says, hey, I want a Prism gloss, guess what? I send them an invoice. First, I try to upsell them, but I send them an invoice. As soon as they pay the invoice, I send them the voice memo. And it took me a while to perfect my voice memo because it's very important on how you sound. So I would send my voice memo to some of my girlfriends and say, do I sound weird? Do I sound like nervous? And eventually, basically at the end of the day, you want to sound like you're talking to your mom, your sister, your brother, somebody that you would never be nervous talking to, just like your real voice. Once you get that voice memo set, you can send that same one to every single person. Or if you want, sometimes I have it so down that sometimes I'll say, hey, Jenny, totally random, but have you ever thought about selling makeup and skincare? I feel like you'd be absolutely perfect for this. Super simple. It's only $55 to sign up. You're going to get up to 50% profit on every single sale you make. You're going to turn around and sell it for full price. On top of it, if you build a team, you're going to make a 10% commission on every girl that joins you. And then there's also residual bonuses, other things you can do. Totally random, like I said, but if there's something that you're interested in doing, send me a message, let me know. Let's get you started. Now, if they say no, they don't feel that bad because I sound so casual that they feel comfortable going, oh, maybe later or not right now. But oftentimes they'll be like, let me think about it. Or, wow, only $55? Okay. So you will never, ever in a million years get somebody to join you if you don't ask them. Do you know people want to be invited? People are dying to be invited. People might look at you and think, I could never do that. But when you invite them, you believe in them, so then they believe in themselves. This is the reality of this business, you guys. If you are not constantly growing your Facebook group or your Instagram group or your clientele group, or if you are in person, if you are not constantly making that your number one priority to grow that customer base, because the products are where it's at. Sell the products, you're going to grow a team. It's the way it is. So I sell probably between $5,000 and $10,000 in product a month. And guess what? Day one of my group, I had 0 people in there. I think I added maybe 150 friends to my Facebook group day one. I'm probably up to like 1,000 right now. And it's taken me this whole time. A lot of those girls are on my team that really shouldn't be in my group, but they are because I want them to see like how I do things. But it really takes the in and out everyday hustle that the average person, like my sister said, I'm surprised more people aren't like, blah, 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 because your job is really not that hard. And I looked at her and I thought to myself, you're right, it's not hard. But The average person just doesn't have what it takes to have the discipline to do it when things aren't easy. And I am here to tell you that you have what it takes. You absolutely have what it takes. If a mom of 6 that literally is there's nobody out there as busy as me, let me tell you, that is a fact. I've worked full-time my whole life. All my kids went into daycare. I was a single mom for my first 2 boys, and I know what it's like to struggle. I know what it's like to have no money. I know what it's like to have to check your bank account to buy a $5 something. So I came from basically as low as you could. I want this so bad that there's nothing out there that can stop me from hitting every single goal that I set. And if there comes a day where I don't hit a goal, it will not be for lack of effort. So you have to ask yourself, are you missing goals because of lack of effort or because you legitimately cannot accomplish that goal? Don't reduce the size of the goal, increase the effort. And I promise you guys, if you dig deep inside and you move some of that doubt and self-doubt away, there's some grit in there. There is something in there that you don't even know that you have that makes you capable of anything that you put your mind to. And as soon as you believe that, everyone else will start to believe it, and magic starts to happen. You will start to accomplish all of the things that you always have wanted to. And if a simple person like me that has no fancy background, no huge following, I'm just a regular everyday mom, can do this, let me tell you, you can also do it. If I can learn how to put on makeup, you can too. If I can reach out to people and get shut down and then have them contact me later and join, you can too. But if what you're doing is not working, this is the hard part. You have to be able to step back, swallow your pride, learn from other people that are doing it better than you are, take that advice, be coachable, and actually sit and ponder and think about a way to do it better, and then do it, even if it's scary. Thank you so much, you guys. I'm so happy to be here and talk to you. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I didn't go into Senestar Trip as much as I initially planned because, to be honest, Senestar Trip is more focused on your team and personal sales. There are so many different levels that you can hit on a Senestar Trip. If anyone wants to go through any details with me, I'd be happy to chat with you one-on-one. But again, in order to hit the Senestar Trip, it's not just about personal sales, it's also about your team. So you can't hit it unless you build a team. And that all starts with line 1. It all funnels back into line 1. You want to go on the Lips trip, you want to get a free car earned by this company, you want to go on the Senestar trip every single year and never miss a trip ever again. It all starts with doing something different if it's not what's been working. So thank you so much for having me. I hope this was inspiring to some of you guys. I'm not sure, but I am here to help answer your questions. Allison, thank you for having me. This was such an honor to be able to be in this group. I was sitting there watching this group last year, a little nobody. I don't even know what my rank was, but I remember seeing girl after girl after girl come on, and I absorbed every single second of those trainings. And if you want this, you'll do the exact same. I found time. In the car, I listened whatever I could. I took the advice from each person, applied it to my business, and made it happen. So anyway, thank you guys for having me. I'm gonna go lay down for a bit because I'm totally winded and out of breath, and wish me luck. This little babe should be here within a couple of weeks, and then I won't have all these breathing issues. So I hope you guys have a beautiful Sunday with your families, and go out and get them, girls.